Hey everyone, I know it has been a super long time, about 3 months since I got on here, and I just wanted to come on here to do a quick little mental health update and kind of talk about what's been going on since the last time I posted. And hopefully this time I'm officially back. Last time I posted I was like, I'm back, and then I went away for 3 months, but hopefully this time I will be back officially, but no promises, because I am actually, I think, in the beginning of a depressive episode, unfortunately. So right now I'm actually making myself film this. I don't feel like filming this right now. I honestly just want to go to bed, and it's only, what time is it? 7:50. And I haven't really been doing that much this weekend. I've literally just been watching TV and watching stuff with my mom and sleeping a lot. And yeah, that is depression for you. So anyways, the past few months I've actually been relatively well, up until probably end of June. I don't really know what actually triggered my depression, but it got pretty bad end of June, early July until mid-July. I was still able to go to work, but I just was super down, had zero motivation. And it's so funny because it seems like such a long time ago, which I guess it kind of is, because right now it's mid-August. But I was feeling really down. I felt like I didn't really have anyone to talk to. I felt like no one could really relate to me. I kind of just felt like I had no one, basically. So I was in a really low place. And I had actually a lot of people reach out to me, because a lot of times when I do get into a depression, I will sometimes post a little bit about it on Instagram just to be transparent and show people kind of what it looks like for me. And so a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a few people reached out to me. So that was really well appreciated. And yeah, so that was that. And then now I realized, probably on Friday, I felt like, oh shoot, another depression is coming. And I don't know if it's just me, but I have gotten really good at kind of pinpointing, not a specific moment, but it'll be okay, something will happen and it'll be little, or it will be big, but I'm gonna be something just happens, and my mind, where it's just oh, you're about to be depressed. It literally is a light switch, especially this past time, or this time now. On Friday, I was kind of stressed at work, and I had to do something, and I thought it was going to be harder than it actually turned out to be. And I did it, but I worked myself up so much before I even did it. And after that, I was just dang, I think I am going into depression. It's so weird how sometimes just small things can trigger it. But I do know that I'm kind of at a transitioning time in work. I'm also still working on my degree. I was going to talk about how, with me, it is very interesting. I've definitely talked about this in another video, where it's when I get anxious, I'm quote unquote fine, I can handle it. And then when I'm depressed, I can handle it. But then when it's two of them combined, it's okay, this is just a recipe for disaster. I get a super low place. But last week when I started feeling down, I realized that it was sparked from feeling overwhelmed and anxious. And so I think I get myself all worked up, and then I realize oh, it wasn't actually a big deal. And then somehow on that come down, it's instead of coming down to my baseline, I'm oh, go low, lower than my baseline. And then I just kind of stay there. And what helped me really in my last episode was I went to go visit family for my cousin's engagement party, and I actually was kind of not dreading going to the party or seeing my family. It was more so like I had been depressed for a few weeks, and it's just more so like the social anxiety was starting to happen, being like, oh, are they gonna sense that I'm anxious? Are they gonna sense that I'm depressed? Like, I'm not gonna be able to like interact in a way that I usually interact with them, and just feeling like extremely like self-conscious about just how I would appear to them socially. But surprisingly, like kind of all of that faded when I was with them, which just shows like how great my family is, and I just really love being around them. Like, super glad that I went, and that kind of just took me out of my depression just by going, which is really interesting because a lot of times I'll like, usually when I do go to social things, it helps, but it's not like the main thing. It's not like the main thing that like gets me out of the depression. So I don't know if it was a combination of just like seeing my family, and we had kind of like not necessarily like packed days, but we just like did a lot, and it was a lot of family time. And then I got to see like one of my really good like childhood friends. And then also like my birthday was like the following week, so I think that also helped. But also, I don't know if anyone else feels this way, but birthdays for me are sometimes really difficult for different reasons. The first reason is that I don't have like a typical like friend group in the city that I live in. So it's just like, it's not one of those things where when like my birthday rolls around, there's like people who are like, oh yeah, like of course, like what are you doing for your birthday? Like of course we're gonna hang out with you. I don't have kind of like a group like that. So planning my birthday is always usually stressful, and then also it's in the middle of the summer, so it's kind of hard because people are traveling, and then also since we're getting older, people are working, and my birthday was on a weekday this year, so it's just like harder for people to coordinate and schedule. So that is always something that stresses me out. And then for the second reason is that I like, since I'm not in a relationship, it's like one of those things where if I was in a relationship, like if I had a boyfriend, I just like hang out with him, or like we do something, even if it wasn't like on my birthday, like I'd celebrate that with that person. And like obviously since we would be in a relationship, they'd be like, of course, like I'll celebrate your birthday with you. But since I don't have that, it's kind of like no one's really like, I would, obligated is like a strong word, but like no one like is really expected, I guess, to spend time with me on my birthday. So that sometimes gives me a lot of anxiety. And then just like seeing, just in general, social media, like seeing how other people celebrate their birthday, and then also on your birthday you're just getting like all these messages being like, oh my gosh, like I hope this is the best day ever, and it's just like it's just a normal day. And surprisingly, like I did not do much. I got my nails done, actually went to go get a COVID test because I was feeling sick. Didn't have COVID, thank goodness. And met up with a couple of my friends for dinner. So that's like all I did. It was actually like really chill. The day went by really fast, I think, because it was a weekday. Yeah, so it ended up like turning out to be like better than I thought. Last year my birthday was really hard for me because the year prior I did something with this guy that I like really liked, and I thought we were like gonna end up in a relationship, but we didn't. And he ended up planning this like really nice like surprise date for me. It wasn't on my actual birthday, but it was after I got back in town, and it was just really nice. And yeah, so yeah, last year was like a super struggle for me. Like I actually like had like a breakdown. I was on vacation with my mom and my best friend, and I literally just was like just crying because I was just like, I'm like so unhappy and so anxious about all of the things that comes with birthdays. And I felt upset because I'm just like, what if I'm never gonna like find someone where I'm actually gonna like be in the place where I can like celebrate my birthday with them, and just all of the things. Kind of switching gears, another sign of when my depression or anxiety is getting bad is when my OCD kind of gets triggered. And I want to make a separate video about this because it just like, I've made like a quick little like brief like explanation of how my OCD looks and how I've dealt with it in the past. But there's been like not even so many people, but it's still such like a misunderstanding of what OCD actually is, and it's like misused just in people's everyday lives. And it's something that I'm like very passionate about because like I struggle with it. So of course, like I want to talk to people about it. I have been kind of like quote unquote like shy about talking about it on YouTube or on social media, just because like it, one, looks different for so many people, and two, like I don't know why I'm like starting to tear up, but like two, I was in like a really, I wouldn't say like low place because I wasn't, I mean, I guess I was. I was, I guess, depressed when my OCD was really bad, but I was just in a place where like literally like couldn't leave the house. Like it was, I just did so many things that was like hindering my day-to-day life. And I don't want to get into too many details because I want to make a separate video about it. And then, but also if you want to, if you want to learn more, learn a little bit more, I talked about it in one of my last videos. I think it was like in my intro video when I was like talking about like, let's talk about like my mental health, when I made the switch from going from content that I was talking about before to like mental health. So if you want to watch that, you can watch that, and I'll put that link in the description for that video. Oh yeah, then I just want to talk a little bit about like mental health, just how it's been seen in pop culture recently. So we just ended the Olympics about a week or two ago, and if y'all were following, I'm sure everyone knows, but Simone Biles like had to basically step down from competing because just like she had these things what are called twisties, and I'm still kind of like unaware of what, I think it's like when your mind isn't matching up with your body, and so you're not able to do like certain moves, certain coordinations, and it kind of like, it can be like really dangerous. But also like for her mental health sake, she was just like, there's too much pressure and it's just a lot. And also recently before that, Naomi Osaka did the same thing where she was just like, mental health wise, like I can't compete right now. And a lot of people were supportive, but a lot of people gave them kind of like flack for it because it's like, you're supposed to be a professional athlete, like you need to pull through. But what people don't realize is that mental health and physical health kind of go like hand in hand. And if anything, just from my experience, obviously I don't discount anyone with physical health issues or physical health illnesses, but for me, just like mental health is, what am I trying to say? Mental health and physical health, they're both like equally important. Like yeah, but it's so hard with the stigma because of course it's like a lot of times when you are dealing with a mental health issue, no one can physically see that you're dealing with it. But obviously when you're dealing with a physical health issue, it's like, okay, clearly like your leg is broken, you have cancer, or like you have some other sickness. But with mental health, there's no like, visibly you can't see anything. Like now, like I am currently in a depression, but do I look sick? Do I look unwell? I mean, I might look a little tired because I might have some bags under my eyes. But other than that, I look fine. And so I think it's really, really good that athletes are starting to come out and just like normalizing how important mental health is, and just how like that it's something that needs to be taken seriously, and it needs to be taken as seriously as physical health. And I think it's really good that athletes take the stand, because they are seen as these role models, as these heroes, especially with something as big as the Olympics. And so they have this platform where literally like the whole world is basically watching them. And so proud of Simone Biles for taking that stand and being transparent and vulnerable during that time, because I'm sure just taking that stand in and of itself is just hard. So I know in one of my last videos I mentioned that I wanted to talk about my experience with my outpatient treatment program, my IOP. So be on the lookout for that. I really kind of want to like get into the details of that, because a lot of people are kind of like curious, as I was when I had no idea what I was getting into when I started. Not a lot of people talk about it. When I was like trying to research it before I went into the program, I could not really find anything. So I hope I can be like a good, just like, I guess like resource to let y'all know like kind of like what it is and like what to expect, and to not be kind of like not afraid of it, but just like there's such like a stigma around like inpatient programs and like psych wards at hospitals. And granted, like I haven't been in any of those, so I can't speak on those, but it's just like people have such like this weird like why would you do like an outpatient program? Like why would you do group therapy? Like there's so many like negative stereotypes about what happens during these things. And so I kind of just wanted to like not necessarily like address the stereotypes, because I feel like, yeah, some of the things that people might be thinking are the things that happen in these programs, as far as like group therapy and like sitting in a circle and like talking about your feelings. But it's not in a way, a lot of times, it's how like the media portrays it. So I want to talk about that, and I'm saying these things so y'all can keep me accountable for what I am going to talk about next, and to continue to make these videos. I'm sorry if I sound kind of like all over the place. Like I said, this video actually was not planned. I have been wanting to sit down and make a video, and I just didn't plan anything. And then I was like, okay, today, like, I have some time. My mind is like a little scattered, just because like I am, like I said, what I think are the beginnings of depression. Like tomorrow I could wake up and feel fine, I guess, but I don't think that's the case. But I guess I should think positive, so that potentially could happen, but I don't think so, just based on how I'm feeling now. So yeah, and then just like a special shout out to my friend Taylor. She actually really inspired me to make this video. She made a life update video last week, kind of like about what was going on with her life, and she kind of got out of her comfort zone and was being like pretty vulnerable with her audience. And so that just like really inspired me to like kind of like, okay, like I can get back onto YouTube, even if I feel like my mind is kind of all over the place. So shout out to her. I will put her YouTube channel in the description. She is a fashion, skincare, beauty channel. And yeah, so shout out to her. And as always, if you want to connect with me, feel free to follow me on Instagram at Shy Girl Sentiments. Also, I've been trying to be pretty active on TikTok, so also follow me on TikTok at Shy Girl Sentiments. You can follow me on Twitter at that Shy Girl Erin, and I will see y'all soon. Hopefully Thanks for watching. Bye.